Hello everybody, this is the A button. Welcome back to the channel. And today we are doing something a bit different. And a lot of Five Nights at Freddy's fans are wondering, how exactly does a Springlock work? And in today's video we will be discussing what a Springlock looks like. And how the Springlock works, and we will also be doing an overview of the Springlock suits and where these Springlocks are placed and what potential dangers those suits could be. Because Phone Guy in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, he explains that the suits were redeemed unsafe and were retired. So, before we do all that, I'm throwing out a quick spoiler warning for a lot of FNAF lore. And, why don't we cue that intro? Now guys, today, if I don't sound my best, it's just because my throat is very sore. Yet I still wanted to get this video out to you guys because it just popped in my head that I should do it. Now, on screen is an image of a Springlock. And I totally didn't steal it off of Google. Okay, I did. It's kind of obvious. Now, if you look all the way to your left, you will see what looks like a giant key ring and a little rectangle. I have an arrow pointing to it. The rectangle represents a bolt, which is what they used on the Five Nights at Freddy's suits. But nowadays, Springlocks have rings so that you don't need a crank to coil the Springlocks. Now, if you look to your right, there's a pin that has an arrow next to it. That pin would normally be holding back all those animatronic parts. And now these little pins that are on screen, like it's kinda next to that giant pin that would hold back those parts. Now, if you pull back on that ring, the spring would tighten together, which is a lot of tension. And then you would end up twisting the lock so that those little rods would go into a couple of slots. And the spring would push against your pulling force. And that's a lot of tension. It would hold it in those little slots that you see. And now your Springlock is safe and tightened. And this would keep all the animatronic parts at the side of the suit so that you can fit inside. Now, Purple Guy in the Silver Eyes mentions that not even the slightest amount of pressure could trip those Springlocks. And once you set off one, you're going to set off all of them. And as you can see, those slots are not very big. They're not very deep. So that, and the reason for this is so that, the suit can still have, like, it can still be compressed properly at the same time. Now, if you do end up setting these off, Purple Guy mentions in, the Silver Eyes, that all the suits will snap right into you, not the suits, all the locks will snap right into you, as you can see on this diagram that I made. They'll snap right into your body, and that'll leave a lot of deep cuts. And then your body parts will be crushed by the endoskeleton, and you will die very slowly. Now, if you've read the Silver Eyes, you will know that Dave survived, Dave being Purple Guy. he survived a Springlock failure. And if he had proper medical attention, this is very possible. And, I believe it was Carlton who was stuck in a Springlock suit and held captive by Dave inside of the restaurant. Now, we're going to take a close look at this model that I made of the Spring Bonnie animatronic. Those little squares that look like they have buttons on them, those are the Springlocks. As you can see in this head, there are a lot of them. And the shaded areas show where a person would be able to fit inside. And if you hit against one of them, they could easily set off and kill you. Now, if we take a look at the body, there are also several which could also be set off and kill you. So, these suits could obviously be a potential threat to employees, which I assume is why Phone Guy deemed them unsafe and the company had to retire the suits. But that's what happened. And that's basically it. That's the end of the video. I will see you guys later. This is the A Button signing out.